Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 23 of tracking the shifting real estate market here in southern New Jersey, in Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties, right outside of Philadelphia. Happy June. We're here. It's post Memorial Day. And the market, I think, recognized that it's after Memorial Day too, and sort of the unofficial start of the summer and those June school sales. Now, we talked right at the end of last week that we liked our ratios, things that were going on, expecting a little bit of an uptick post Memorial Day, school sales, certain things like that starting to come together. And that's bearing itself out. In our first four metrics that we always like to kind of keep an eye on: total active listings, total listings on the market, anything that's new, anything that went under contract, and anything that actually did formally closed. These shot up. I mean, there has been what I can see here, these jumped up more than almost any other week combined in all the categories. So, for example, total active listings last week was at 1103. We jump up to 1158. So that's pretty good, bringing more inventory on the market. We'd like to see that. But what else happened? Now, we didn't quite keep our ratio, right? And again, the ratio that we're talking about is we want more new listings and go under contract, and we want more under contract that close. At this point, we want that. It's going to continue to make that total active listing go up and up and up. We didn't quite have it this week, but we did have new listings. We're up from 225 last week up to 351. So 225 up to 351. It's almost like a 50% increase in the new listings that came on the market this week as opposed to last week. Now, the week before they were like 332. So we did have a big down week right before Memorial Day, but it was a big up week coming right out of it. So that was good. We did also see that our under contracts, we were at 299, right at 300 last week. We're at 385. So a big jump up for that as well. And then for our close units, it looks like we have 233 from last week up to 372 this week. So pretty much like more than a 50% increase on that one. So that's all good to see. We got more listings coming on. Everything's kind of going. Our total active listings went up. So we're pretty good. I did have a question that somebody was saying, how does more close than comes on, yet our total active listings goes up? There are a couple other categories that we look at. Again, those expireds, withdrawn, and canceled are part of that. There's also something called active under contract. Now, I don't keep active under contract for the purposes of these statistics, and here's why. In New Jersey, active under contract effectively means that you have agreed to a contract, but you're not out of attorney review yet. Now, attorney review in New Jersey is a 3 business day period, the day after both parties have signed a fully executed contract, that the buyer and the seller have the right, not the obligation, but have the right to have an attorney review the contract, make sure that they're good to go with it, or if there's language that they want to change or amend, that they'll add it, and as long as both parties agree, they move forward. Now, that from just the way I described it there, I think it's a pretty smart thing, right? You want to sign a contract quickly, but you still want a couple day period where you want to make sure, hey, did I get in over my head? What am I looking at here? Have an attorney review it with you, right? Most of the time that comes and goes and it's not really a big deal and you just go through with it. But, and this is the but of why I'm not including it in these statistics. In a competitive market, two things can happen. In New Jersey, buyers can submit offers on multiple properties at once. You shouldn't, but it happens. And that's because we don't send contracts as our offer. I was just at a conference down in Dallas and things like that. And when I talk to a lot of other agents, they send a contract and they cannot submit an offer on any other property until the option period for that contract has concluded or they have actually formally been negotiated with. Now, in New Jersey, we'll send what's called a proposal to purchase, which is basically like hey, we'll buy it for this price. We'll put this escrow deposit down. This is the day we'll close. Anything if we want to pre-negotiate on appraisals, inspections, things like that. But really, we could submit 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 offers all at once. And then if we end up getting 2 of them that say yes, we just simply decide and say, hey, yes to this one and no to that one, right? So that might be good. I mean, as a buyer agent, I try not to advise that, but there are just situations when 2 homes, they've only been on market 2 days, they're both calling for highest and best tomorrow at noon. What do? You don't want to lose out on one for the sake of losing, for going for another. So we put 2 offers in. But I have had it happen where that buyer gets accepted on both properties. Well, now what do you do? I've even had it in here, and let's talk about this. So you're a buyer, right? You're on the market and you take a look at 123 Main Street. You absolutely love it. It's the best house you've seen. So you put an offer in on it. But there's another house, 456 2nd Street. It's a good house, don't get me wrong. It's not quite the 123 Main Street, but 456 2nd Street, it's pretty good. So you put in an offer on that one too. Well, 456 Second Street gets back to you immediately and says, hey, we love your offer. Let's move forward. We're going to start drawing a contract. And you're sitting here, I really like that 123 Main Street. What am I going to do now? So what we've done is we've actually signed the contract on 456 Second Street. We've signed them, the seller signs them, we have them back, and we're in attorney review. Now, second day of attorney review, you get a call from that agent on 123 Main Street, and they say, hey, we want to accept your offer. Now you go back to your buyer and say, hey, buyer, here's the deal. You have a written contract right now, and you're under contract, and you're in attorney review on 456 Second Street. However, 123 Main Street just came out and said that they'll move forward with your offer as you submitted it. What do you want to do? Well, now you have a decision to make, right? You either just continue moving with 456 Second Street because you want to, or you could, in that attorney review period, have an attorney for, nominal fee, sometimes $150, $200, $250. They ask us not to quote prices. It's different from every attorney, but roundabout there. And they say, okay, we're going to kill the deal on 456 Second Street under attorney review with a kill letter. And the kill letter is just a letter sent. This contract is null and void. No reason given. We don't have to explain a contingency clause. We don't have to explain anything like that. It's just this deal is dead. And then you're able to get out of that, go over and sign the 123 Main Street contract, and then you can move forward with that. Now, that's all well and good. As a buyer, it's nice to have that optionality, but think of the seller there. The seller on 456 Second Street is like, whoa, wait a minute. We had a contract and you signed it, and now you're just killing it, under attorney review. It's nice to be transparent with the agent and let them know, hey, I want to let you know the home that they really wanted did accept them. So that's why we're canceling. Sometimes we really don't get that follow-up, that communication. So sometimes the seller's just left high and dry. But let's flip the scenario now. Now let's flip it and put you in the seller's shoes, right? So now you're the seller, and let's say you're selling 7, 8, 9, 10th Street, right? Just trying not to keep these properties confusing. So I'm selling 7, 8, 9, 10th Street. And I had, a week of showings, and we ended up getting 5, 6, 7 offers, and we went through all the offers, and we really liked them. And there was this one offer, 2 offers that we really liked. The one offer really stuck out and said, okay, buyer A, we're going to go with you. Great. So we sign contracts and everything goes. And then all of a sudden, you're under contract. You're, again, maybe day 1 or day 2 of attorney review. Somebody comes out of the woodwork and says, you know what? I'm going to flip from my conventional mortgage. I'm going to flip to all cash. And I'm going to drop to a 2-week closing, no appraisal contingency, no inspection, and they end up going $20,000 above the offer that you just signed a contract for. What do you do? Some sellers will say, my word is my bond, and I have already said yes to this other buyer, and I'm not going to back out on that. But most sellers will say, hey buyer, I'm really sorry. We got another offer during attorney review that is significantly more attractive than the one we have as a contract with you. So we are going to kill this deal in attorney review on the seller side, kick you out, buyer, and we're going to sell 7, 8, 9, 10th Street to this other cash offer instead. So both on the buyer side and the seller side, there are pros and cons of what can happen during that attorney review period. But that's why I don't include it for here. I don't use it as a bankable statistic, because in New Jersey, the whims of buyers and sellers and the volatility of the market doesn't give me enough confidence to use it as a statistic for forecasting. So that's why I go new listings and then right to pending. Pending basically means that we've passed that attorney review period and now we're under contract. And the only way we're backing out of this contract is if we have an inspection issue, we have a buyer financing or an appraisal issue, if there's unpreventable township issues that prevent us from moving forward to closing, anything like that. So those are the ones that we can really actually bank on from a statistical analysis and perspective, right? Now, here's the last thing from today. Prices are up again, right? For the past, so week 21, 2 weeks ago, median list price, $325,000. Last week, $326,000. This week, $329,000. And I don't see that turning around. Now, Barbara Corcoran, who is on Shark Tank, she's a self-made millionaire real estate mogul in New York City, was on Good Morning America this past week. I think it was just a couple days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. And she basically said now is a good time to buy because it is going to become a feeding frenzy as soon as interest rates drop back down. This is what I have thought for a while. This is what a lot of other agents have been thinking for a while, and the lenders have been thinking this as well. There are a lot of buyers who have sat on the sidelines because of these interest rates, and they are waiting for them to come down even a little bit, a point and a half. Interest rates, they don't need them to come down, to the pre-pandemic levels. We've spoken about that on previous videos, but they really want to see it just come down a little bit, make lending a little bit more affordable, and the prices are going to go up again. I'm going to make a little bit of a prediction here. We're at 329 here in week 23. By the end of the year, I could be so off on this. By the end of the year, I'm going to say that our median list price is probably going to get into the 340, maybe even 350 range. It could get higher than that, but I don't want to kind of do any shock and awe campaigning here. But I think it's very realistic that we could see that go up. Now, it also depends. What if they don't lower interest rates for another year? Okay, well, that's a different story. Obviously, but assuming that we see them bring it down a little bit, maybe by the end of summer, maybe by the start of fall, that's going to shoot these prices up again. So that's where, and that is going to what's going to gobble up our total available listings. But the goal would be, the reason why we've had such a little bit of an inventory crisis, and you can see that still on our blue bar graph, is the total active listings from January, February, March, April, May, 1,500 all the way down to 1,100 from January to April, and then slight rebound here in May. That is going to get gobbled up again, but at least the sellers who are sitting on the sidelines, who are also waiting to purchase again, might be willing to. But I don't think that the amount of sellers that would be entering the market versus the amount of just free buyers or non-contingent buyers that would be coming in the market, I don't think those are going to match. I think the non-contingent buyers are going to be higher, and I think it's going to eat up that available listings. And when we do that again, it's just another round of this removing inventory, increasing the demand, and bringing our prices back up again. Now, I'm personally a little happy about this because I bought my home back in October with my fiance, and we've already seen a fairly nice equity rise in our property from when we bought to now, which is, great to see. I mean, we may never sell this place. We may live here for a very long time. So for us, the only reason why that's going to apply is during the refinance. When we go to refinance, they look at two things. One, your current appraised value at that point in time, and then also what the interest rates were and are, and then kind of doing the factors that way. For us, we would be having not only a lower interest rate, but also the appraisal on our house would probably be much higher. And we've also been making improvements to the house since we've been here. So it's in better shape. It's in better condition since we bought it, right? So those are definitely the things I'm excited for, because that's when you start talking about the cash out refinance options where you can actually pull some of the equity back out of your house while keeping your payment the same, all those things, right? So as we move forward and as we kind of look into this, again, we're keeping an eye on those prices. They're on the rise. Don't see any reason for them to be turning around. Listen to Barbara. Don't listen to me. Now's a good time to buy. She's the mega millionaire real estate mogul, in New York. And even they're saying it up there. So I would hope that some of that similarity would apply to us. So anyway, that's going to do it for us here, week 23. We're almost at the halfway point of the year, coming up pretty soon, which is really exciting. And again, we've talked about June school sales all year. So this should be a pretty volatile and a pretty up and up month for real estate. It's going to get fast. It's going to get heavy. So it should be fun. So anyway, that'll do it for us here this week, everybody. I hope everybody has a great day, rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon.